The Honorable Dr. Yurifo, Deputy and Student Development. Welcome and good afternoon. The distinguished student moderator, Muhammad Nasir Badu, PhD, Head of International and Cooperation Office, Universitas Sulawesi Barat. Good afternoon, Mr. Badu. The Honorable to the all committee, all participants from all over the world, and media partners. Welcome to the international webinar in the 7th anniversary of Universitas Sulawesi Barat with sustainable development in new normal era, social and economic perspectives. Ladies and gentlemen, first agenda, we will sing Indonesia national anthem together. Please attention. Ladies and gentlemen, before going to the next agenda, let's watching the video together.
Where is the video?
Pak Wandi, there is the video, Pak Wandi.
Sustainable development is to make the world a better place for everyone without destroying the possibilities for the next generations. If you wonder if something is sustainable, you can ask yourself, can we do this over and over again forever? Sustainable development means that we need to keep three things in mind at once: social progress, economic development, and climate and environment. First of all, we have to take care of our planet. We have many natural ecosystems that must be in balance in order for us to live here. The climate system is one of them. This system ensures that the temperature is correct and that the atmosphere emits exactly the right amount of solar energy. When we emit harmful greenhouse gases such as CO2, we clog the atmosphere. This changes the temperatures on Earth, which again affects our development. How we produce and use energy is incredibly important. Oil and coal are examples of energy we may run out of. Water, wind, and sun, however, will always be here. Using the lasting sources of energy that renew themselves is good for the planet and can provide jobs for years to come. Economics. Almost everything we develop, buy, and trade starts with nature. The smarter we use our natural resources and the better systems we create for a fair distribution, the more sustainable we are. One way to contribute to a more uneven distribution is to be more aware of what we buy and how it is produced. A football is a good example. It travels far before it reaches the football players. First, the materials are made. Then, they print the logo somewhere else before a third country sews it all together. One single football sees the whole world before it reaches its goal. This journey ties us together. If we are to win the battle for a sustainable future, we have to play with fair rules that applies to everyone. Social progress. We humans are part of nature, but we're also important resources for the world. Just like water, the forest, and the sun, we have minds that can create the strangest and most creative things. But for us to be the best versions of ourselves, there are certain things that must be in order, like having equal opportunities to education, safety, food, and medicine. This provides greater opportunities for us as human beings, but also for the planet. We just have to think in new ways. These three must work together. That is sustainable development. And there is actually a plan for this. All the countries of the United Nations have agreed on a joint plan for sustainable development. But for the plan to work, we need to cooperate, and we need you to be on board. Are you with us?
Professor Joanna are here. Maybe we can invite to the display. Ladies and gentlemen, before going to the next agenda, I will invite a rector of Universitas Sulawesi Barat to give welcome speech and officially opening the webinar for today. Dr. Haji Aksan Jalaluddin, MS, time is yours.
Thank you, Miss. Hello. 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 Can you hear? Okay. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon. Alhamdulillah wa syukurillah wa la hawla wa la quwata illa billah. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. His Excellency Professor Dr. Basri Hasanuddin MA, former ambassador, former ministry, former rector for Hasanuddin University. Is he already here? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Honorable Professor Joanna Pali Kiwi. Sorry for my pronunciation. Maybe. Yeah. So
Well,
welcome. Welcome to Majene.
thank you very much.
Virtual. Yeah. Maybe one day, someday you can come here.
I would be very happy.
Welcome, Professor Basri. Yeah. Honorable Dr. Yuri Fu from Sabah, Malaysia. Yeah. I have been there maybe 15 years ago. Okay. Welcome to Majene. Yeah. Welcome to Majene by virtual. The community participant, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, sorry, Dr. Nasir Badu as a moderator in this webinar. Good afternoon, Mr. Badu. First of all, I would like to say welcome to invited speaker, all of you. Thank you for coming in Sulawesi Barat University in Majene, even just by virtual. This is in terms of our celebrating of anniversary, the seventh university, Sulawesi Barat University, as a public university. Let me explain a little bit about our university and our province. This university is still new. Actually, 12 years, yeah, including private university. But 7 years ago, we are to be a public university. So we come from there. So now still 7 years established. And we have 8 faculty and 23 departments. And we have students about 9,000. Now we have students 9,000 in the statistic of Sulawesi Barat University. And we have a new province, Sulawesi Barat province. This province part of South Sulawesi. Before maybe start from the 2004, so now about 16 years. So we separate from the South Sulawesi. Professor Joanna, Sulawesi Island, you can see in Indonesia map, in Key Island. Yeah, we are in the middle of the Key Island. So that is why we call West Sulawesi province, because in the middle position. So we have 6 regency, and just about 1.5 million population. I would like to appreciate the international webinar that is held for anniversary of our university. This event eventually become an annual agenda, and this year we implement seminar or webinar. The theme of seminar is sustainable development in new normal era, social and economic perspective. We have already invited for incredible speaker, but now still 3 because Mr. Dr. Idris maybe still not come, Dr. Madu, yeah. But hopefully in this future, our collaboration will be smooth and continue. In the end, let me express my respect for you all, particular for speaker and the committee who make the seminar success. Enjoy the seminar and see you next year. And the last, I would like to invite you to really come to the West Sulawesi University, Sulawesi Barat University. Maybe when the pandemic gone. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Aksan Jalaluddin, for your welcome speech. And before going to the next, we will opening the webinar. And please, Dr. Aksan Jalaluddin, officially opening the webinar before we continue to the next agenda.
Yeah, thank you. I forgot. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This webinar we open now. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for your welcome speech and officially opening the webinar session. Ladies and gentlemen, we move to the main agenda. Please give your attention. In this session, I will invite the moderator, Mr. Muhammad Nasir Badu, PhD, to lead this webinar session. Mr. Badu, time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Ika. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon. Of course, good morning for Professor Joanna in Poland, because I think now is the morning in there. So, all distinguished speakers, participants, and ladies and gentlemen, so we have already here 3 speakers, but in our player, actually, they are 4 speakers, but unfortunately, Dr. Muhammad is now in hospital because he got sick, so that's why we have already 3 speakers in here. Ladies and gentlemen, all distinguished speakers and participants, the director mentioned about the theme today is about the sustainable development, is new normal era, social and economic perspective. Of course, we'll be talking about the theme. We're talking about the two consists of the theme. The first one is sustainable development, and the second one is new normal era. And let me explain a little bit about sustainable development, even though we have already familiar with that. Since 1972, when United Nations, through the first conference of sustainable development, UN announced about this issue. Since then, the issue became a main issue, and then a lot of countries, this is including developing and developed countries, trying to adopt development, the sustainable development. Every single country, of course, pay attention about that. So how about the new normal era? I think that after hitting pandemic COVID-19, I think the new normal era, exists, and then, now and around us. So that's why a lot of countries, of course, pay attention also about this one. So today, our seminar, of course, try to connect about the sustainable development and new normal era, and then of course those things has there's a tight relation. We have already 3 speakers in here, and then I would like to mention about the theme of the speakers we'll talk about. The first one is Prof. Joanna. Prof. Joanna will talk about the sustainable development, innovative organization, leadership, trust, and knowledge management. And the second one is His Excellency Professor Dr. Basri Hasanuddin. We're talking about the sustainable development and the new normal, what the university can do. And the last one is Dr. Jury Fo from the University of Malaysia, Sabah, trying to say about the adapting to the new normal era. So I want to invite the first speaker is Prof. Joanna about the sustainable development, innovative organization, leadership, trust, and knowledge management. Time is yours.
Dear Rector, professors, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to me to give a speech today. I will open the presentation. I hope I can share. I think I don't have an option to share my screen. I will try one more time. Desktop.
Any problem, Prof. John?
I think I cannot share. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, the presentation. Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. So my topic is related with innovative organization. I would like to share my research results related with the project in which I connected leadership, trust, and knowledge management. All of these dimensions influence on innovation in organization. I live in Warsaw. Warsaw is the capital of Poland since 16th century. In Warsaw live 1.8 million people, and we have 66 higher education institutions. I work at Warsaw University of Life Sciences. It's one of the oldest universities in Poland. The university has more than 200 years. And I work as a director of Management Institute. And agenda for my presentation is first I will present the foundation of leadership, trust, and knowledge management and innovation, and later I will share results of the project. The purpose of my presentation is to show the role of leadership, trust, knowledge management in innovative organization. The first concept is leadership. Leadership is one of the most significant predictors that determines the success of the organization. And leadership is the action of leading a group of people or an organization or the ability to do this. In my model, I used leadership as one of the dimensions, and I use 4 types of constructs related with relationship, processes, behavior, and threats. The second construct in my model is trust, and there is a lot of definition of trust. According to psychologists, the trust is an individual feature. According to Gibb, the trust is instinctive and is very close to love. And according to Lewis and Weigert, people vary in terms how much they are able to trust each other. According to sociologists, trust is a part of relationship. We cannot create any relationship without the trust. And trust is also part of social and economic exchange. Social exchange is voluntary, and economic exchange is based on formal contracts. According to my definition, trust is the belief that another party will not act in a way that is harmful to the trusting party, will act in such a way that it's beneficial to the trusting party, will act reliably, will behave or respond in a predictable and mutually acceptable manner. And we can summarize that trust can be seen as a bridge between past experiences and anticipated future. According to neuroeconomists, a lot of elements influence on this if we are able to trust the other person. For example, body language, mimicry, the degree of similarity, voice, gesture, physical appearance, smell, and face profile. And also the level of the hormone endorphins influence on this how much we are able to trust other person. The trust is interpersonal. It appears between concrete individuals and it's related with communication. It's situational rather than global. It's placed in particular person. It's voluntary. We cannot enforce anybody to trust. It's committed since each party depends on the other, and it's dynamic or temporal. It's very difficult to build the trust, but it's very easy to destroy it. We have a lot of examples how to build trust, but we don't have one answer for it. As I told, trust is not given. Every day we have to work to build the trust with our friends, with our family, and also in business. Some examples how to build trust. Initiate and accept changes in decisions if they are needed, providing information just in time, being honest to others, telling the truth, speaking openly about problems, giving positive and negative feedback in an appropriate manner, showing respect to others, giving and receiving help and support, listen and accept advice of other people, and showing interest and caring for others. Also, there are research showing that it's better to, for example, drink a hot drink at the first meeting than a cold drink. It's better to meet in a tidy place than a dirty place to create the trust at the first meeting. And also there are interesting research showing that also on this influence the floor. If the floor is stable, like in the park, it's easier to create the trust than in cable car when the floor is not stable. Trust must be rebuilt in a natural way. So we cannot enforce anybody to trust. If the trust is destroyed, sometimes it's even impossible to rebuild it. And in my study, I used 4 types of constructs describing trust: abilities and competences, benevolence, consistency, and reliability. Another dimension in my model is knowledge management. In the literature, we have a lot of books and a lot of publication about knowledge management, and also a lot of definition. According to my definition, knowledge management is management of the processes related with the processes of localization, acquisition, development, usage, and storage of knowledge to realize the aims of the organization. And I use these 5 processes to describe knowledge management construct in my model. So I use localization, usage, development, storage, and transfer. And innovation. Innovation is viewed as the application of better solutions, something original or more effective, that meet new requirements, unarticulated needs, or existing market needs. And how innovative are you? What can you see here? So, some people can see the woman's face, and some people can see 3 birds flying to their nest. And what can you see here? It's also a very interesting picture, because some people can see here old woman, and some people can see here young woman, and some people can see both. So it depends on your perception. So you can see young woman, old woman, and you can compare. And sometimes a person who can see young woman is not able to see old woman. Okay, in Innovativeness Construct in my model, I use 4 types of construct: related with effectiveness, productivity, quality, and efficiency. Summarize, for innovation organization, the leadership, trust, and knowledge management are very important foundations. Research results. Here is my model in which I use these 4 dimensions, which I described before. So leadership, trust, knowledge management, and innovativeness. In my research, I established 9 hypotheses. 6 are straight relations. So hypothesis 1, leadership positively contributes to trust. 2, leadership positively contributes to knowledge management. 3, leadership positively contributes to innovativeness. 4, trust positively contributes to knowledge management. 5, trust positively contributes to innovativeness. 6, knowledge management positively contributes to innovativeness. And 3 others are related with a mediation effect. So trust mediates the relationship between leadership and knowledge management. Trust and knowledge management mediate the relationship between leadership and innovation, and knowledge management mediates the relationship between trust and innovation. And the research I made in United States and the internet survey, I used the professional internet survey site, and the questionnaire was sent to 2,161 subjects from all levels of management in various organizations in 9 regions of United States. They are from public, private, and not-for-profit organizations. I got 183 completed surveys. Among them, I had 28% of senior top-level management, 41.5% of middle-level management, 30.11% of supervisory lower-level management. So together, it's 183 answers. The building of the model consisted of the following stages: identification of the most accurate constructs to describe the level of leadership, trust, knowledge management, and innovativeness of the organization. So I used literature review and my previous research to do it. Next, I made assessment of the model quality, presenting relations between hidden variables and observable variables. Next, I made assessment of the strength and direction of the influence of the constructs of leadership, trust, knowledge management, and the organization's innovativeness. And the last, assessment of the quality of the internal model describing relations between hidden variables. So here you can see structural model. And when we analyze the results, we can see that reliability measures are very positive. So alpha Cronbach is higher than 0.7. Also, all factor loadings are higher than 0.7. AVE should be higher than 0.5, and also this is mid. And also, to establish the discriminant validity, the results of the square root of AVE of each latent variable must be greater than its correlations with all other latent variables. And the sufficient discriminant validity was established for the conceptual model, and the results you can see in this table. And here also you can see mediation effect, leadership and trust, leadership knowledge management, leadership innovativeness, trust and knowledge management, trust innovativeness, and knowledge management and innovativeness. All the results are positive. So summarize, there are positive and statistically significant relationships between all constructs. In particular, leadership strongly and directly affects trust. Trust directly and moderately affects knowledge management. Knowledge management directly and weakly affects innovation. Knowledge management is a moderator in relations between leadership and innovativeness. Trust is a mediator in relations between leadership and knowledge management, and knowledge management is a mediator between trust and innovativeness. And here you can see path coefficients and t-values. All the hypotheses were accepted. Here you can see the 6, and here you can see the 3. Together, 9 hypotheses were accepted. Conclusions. So developed and empirically tested theoretical model explains the relationship between the 4 constructs: leadership, trust, knowledge management, and innovation. In the light of the conducted research, there can be observed positive and statistically significant relationships between all constructs. So leadership, trust, and knowledge management are key pillars for a successful innovation. And the results of empirical research have shown that effective leadership is the basis for creating an organization based on trust and knowledge management, thanks to which it is possible to create an environment in which innovation may arise. Limitation of the study. The collected data were self-reported. This may contain potential sources of bias that can limit the generalizability of the results. And furthermore, while the population sample for the present study was fairly balanced among the regions of the United States, a larger sample may have yielded better generalizability of the results. Implication of the study. The notable implication of these findings is that leadership stands as a bedrock of elevated trust, successful knowledge management processes, and enhanced organizational innovativeness. Future research direction can be connected with the research related with country comparison. Actually, now with Australian University from Germany, we are making big project about digital trust, and we made research in 16 countries. Also, we are looking for new partners in this project. We also are needed cultural comparison, long-term studies to see how these constructs changing over time, and also mixed method approach are very needed. In one project, we used we cooperate with neuroscientists, and we use EEG equipment, eye tracking equipment to check the level of trust and level of intuition. The results of this research we published in the book, in these 2 books, which you can see, published by Taylor and Francis, Intuition, Trust, and Analytics, and How Well Do Executives Trust Their Intuition. And these projects were made together with professors from Italy, Canada, and United States. I'm very open for cooperation. I'm looking for partners to new research. I'm trying to create international networks. And also with my institute, we are publishing a lot of books. This year we published Management in the Era of Big Data in Taylor and Francis, and also the second book, Management and Information Technology. Also, we signed agreement with Taylor and Francis for the next year, and we are preparing the new publication. I will be very happy to cooperate with scientists from your countries, and I hope we can meet in the future. I also organize next year 2 conferences, one in Europe, end of June, but it will be virtual, I think, because of the virus. And the second in Las Vegas, in United States, it will be beginning of October. Now we hope that this conference in Las Vegas will be able on place, but we will see what the future will bring. Thank you very much for the invitation, and I'm very happy to be here at this workshop. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Joanna, about your presentation. So I think your presentation is very interesting, because this is trying to connect among leadership, trust, knowledge, and innovative. That you already mentioned in your PowerPoint about leadership strongly and directly affect trust, and then trust directly and moderately affects its knowledge management. And the knowledge management directly and weakly affects innovation. So I'm wondering about, of course, in my mind now is the rise about how to cope with the the pandemic COVID-19. Maybe we have to connect with the leadership, or maybe also the innovation or something like that. and then maybe also related to the development, sustainable development, also maybe sustainable development goals that UN Nation already launched, a couple of years ago. And then, of course, this has the strong relation between those things, I think. Okay, thank you very much for your presentation again. So I think we have already, yes, sir?
Yeah, let me use this opportunity I want to give a question for Professor Joanna, because
I'm sorry, sir. Actually, we have a question and answer even time, so but maybe not now.
Because I have limited time, and I still have other agenda for after this.
Okay,
so,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Sorry, Professor Basri, yeah, Dr. Julie. I will. Yeah, thank you, Pak Nasir.
Okay, okay, go ahead, sir.
Professor Joanna, yeah, good, interesting presentation. Yeah, leadership, trust, and knowledge influence the innovativeness. Yeah, it seems to me that trust and knowledge can build leadership.
The trust
and not vice versa. It seems to me that because the leadership is a composite variable, so many variables to influence the leadership. This is my opinion, and it should be trust and knowledge management influence the leadership, and after that for innovativeness. And maybe there's the other variable, yeah, but you can mention here. And the second, how to measure the variable, like because this is a quantitative approach, yeah. How to measure the trust variable and become the psychology variable to be you use quantitative approach for measure this something like trust and knowledge management and leadership, innovativeness. How to measure the of this variable. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for your questions. Of course, we can put the dimensions in different order. So we can also in the future make research in other ways, how trust and knowledge influence on leadership. Is it possible? In my research, I show the construct and the description of the construct at the first part of the presentation. And I use the scale, a Likert scale from 1 to 7. And for example, to measure the trust, in this research, I use 4 types of constructs. So I have the first construct, abilities and competences. And the question was related with following description. A manager leader's ability and competence lead to improved trust among people. The second was benevolence. Compassion and empathy demonstrated by a manager build trust among people. The third, consistency. Consistency is doing things by a manager leader brings about trust among people. And reliability, a manager leader's honesty and principle contribute to elevated trust among people. In this research, we use these four constructs, but I had also made a lot of projects before. And in this other project, I usually use the scale connected with 9 constructs. 9 because then the trust is better described. But also in the literature, you can find different approaches. But here we use the questionnaires and Likert scale from 1 to 7.
Oh, Likert.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, but yeah, you
Okay.
use Likert scale, yeah, and I
Yes.
think you use something like index for a big for one like trust and knowledge. Yeah, this is a composite variable from the uh, ability and yeah, I don't, yeah. Okay, okay, Mr. Badu.
Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you,
much, Pak
Professor.
Rektor.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
Next,
Sorry.
we move to another speakers. Is His Excellency Professor Dr. Basri Hasanuddin. Will talk about the sustainable development and the new normal, what the university can do. Time is yours, Professor.
Could you show my PowerPoint?
The committee, please. So the yeah, okay. The committee, please. To show the Professor Basri presentation, so the PowerPoint, I mean.
Yeah. Could you show my PowerPoint?
Yeah. The committee, please. PowerPoint-nya Prof. Basri.
Okay. Jangan lupa. Okay. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
So,
Good
good afternoon, everybody. Honorable speakers, Pak Rektor, Dr. Badu, ladies and gentlemen, I am Basri Hasanuddin, speaking from Makassar. First of all, I would like to congratulate Pak Rektor for celebrating for the commemoration of the 7th anniversary of Universitas Sulawesi Barat. I'm going to explain my PowerPoint as follows. Yeah, the topic of my presentation is sustainable development and the new normal. What the university can do. As we all know, before 1960s, most theories of development neglected the environment aspect of our development. Not until 1972, during the UN conference on the environmental in Stockholm, the aspect of environment in development studies is considered. As the consequence, the 1972 Stockholm Conference then followed by the establishment of the UN Environmental Program, Unep. This Unep of the United Nations produce three main important issues related to development in Can you show my? So the main issues recommended by the Unep are the following: that the accelerating rate and decline in the land and water resource of less developed countries. Yeah, this is the first issue, the first findings. And secondly, combination of affluence and pollution and the pollution of poverty. Population growth in less developed countries led to more intensive use of resources, which consequence environmental degradation. That was the report of the Unep at the time. Yeah? Then the so-called environmental aspect of development is developed. In that UNEP report, it was found for Indonesia that from 1971 to 1984, Indonesia enjoyed an annual growth of GNP of 7.1%. But if allowance is made for non-replaced soil, petroleum and timber, the growth rate falls to 4%. If you consider the natural degradation of this development. And if the depletion of natural resources were included, the growth rate would be still lower. The findings of the UNEP with respect to Indonesian development during 1971 to 1984. Referring to the report published by the World Bank in 2009, among shortcomings that Indonesia faces are, this is the case of Indonesia, improper environmental management that hurts the poor and the economy. I repeat, improper. Yeah. Secondly, decentralization that causes inefficient natural resources management. Decentralization. Thirdly, administrative and regulatory framework that that cannot yet meet the demands of sustainable development. And low implementation of policies and programs which can mitigate progress toward the more sustainable development. That is the problems faced by Indonesian government during the process of development from 1971 to 1984. So it was also found that the main drivers of environmental change in Asia and Indonesia are the following. The first one is increased production, increase in export commodities, timber minerals contribute to pollution. And secondly, illegal and indiscriminate logging contribute to land erosion. This is the first cost of the drivers of environmental change in Indonesia. Increase in production. The second, increase in household consumption. Rapid economic growth translate into increased demand for cars, bigger housing, electricity, more non-organic waste per person. The second is the increase in energy consumption. Thirdly, poverty. The low standard of living by Indonesian people and make unwisely use exploitation of resources to supplement incomes. Low income affect the low level of factor productivity. The fourth one is population factor, and the final one is the urbanization. That's the main drivers of environmental degradation from the perspective of Indonesia. This is the graph of land use in Indonesia declining throughout the time. Forestry, wood product industry, and etc. And this is the case of Kalimantan. We see here Kalimantan in 1950 is very green. Yeah? Almost the whole island of Kalimantan green. Yeah? And in after so many years, then it looks like this. And in 2000, like this. And in 2005, like this. So the forest is now becoming less and less. In 2010, it shows like this, and it was like this in 2020. So almost no forest now in Kalimantan. Yeah? This is the intensity of the soil degradation in Indonesia during the time. Yeah? No. Now, what is sustainable development? Sustainable development is a pattern of resource use that aims to meet human needs while preserving the environment, so that these needs can be met not only in the present but also for the generation to come. That's the meaning of sustainable development. The resources we can enjoy now, but also can be enjoyed also by the future generation. So we have to use these resources wisely. The term was used by the Brundtland Commission, which coined with what has become the most often quoted definition of sustainable development as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. Ya. Jadi resources itu adalah titipan generasi yang akan datang terhadap generasi yang sekarang yang harus dimanfaatkan secara sangat bijaksana. Now, the concept of sustainability rests on 5 pillars. That's what I'm going to explain. The first one is environmental sustainability, economic sustainability, political sustainability, social sustainability, and cultural sustainability. These 5 pillars are closely linked, and sustainable development can only be achieved if development efforts respect all the 5 elements. Now, let me now explain what should be used in this 5 aspects of sustainable development. Environmental sustainability, ecosystem integrity, biological diversity, population and immigration. This is the content of the so-called environmental sustainability, to maintain these 3 items in such that they are not destroyed by our development programs. What do we mean by economic sustainability? Economic sustainability reflected in appropriate economic policies, efficient resource allocation, more equitable access to resources, increasing productive capacity to the poor. Those are what do we mean by economic sustainability. What do we mean by political sustainability? Political sustainability meaning that we appreciate the so-called human rights, we conserve democratic development, we create good governance, fourth, the participation of the beneficiaries, and fairness and judicial system. This is the political sustainability. And what do we mean by social sustainability? Social meaning improve income distribution. No need having high rates of growth, but yes, having many poor people. Gender equality. So policy must develop must also reflect the gender equality, and more investment in basic health and educational. That's the meaning of social sustainability and cultural sustainability. Sensitivity to cultural factor. The Indonesia we talk about local kearifan lokal. The first one is sensitivity to cultural factors. Secondly, recognition of values that are conduct to development, conducive to development. Those are the 5 pillars of sustainable development. This is how do we have our natural resources in the sea, Indonesian Sea. No, there's no the concept of green economy. A green economy is one that results in improved human well-being and social equity, while significantly reducing environmental risks and ecological scarcities. A green economy is an economy or economic development model based on sustainable development and a knowledge of ecological economics. Green economics is loosely defined as any theory of economics by which an economy is considered to be a component of the ecosystem in which it resides. Now, green economy, sustainable prosperity, and university. What the university can do? In one time, I was able to attend a Halifax meeting in Halifax regarding preparing documents for Earth Summit. Then we declared in the Halifax the following. The first one, university commitment to the principle and practice of sustainable development within the university and the local, national, and global level. For in campus, we have to have green buildings, green campus, green buildings, green transportation. We have to use an efficient use of non-renewable resources. My experience, I was director of Sanudi University a long time ago, and at that time I have to spend 1.3 billion rupiah for paying the billing of our electricity, because we have so many we consume much of the non-renewable resources. So university must try to build a campus, a green campus, having green buildings, having green transportation. Utilize the intellectual resources of the university to encourage a better understanding on the part of society of the interrelated physical, biological, and social dangers facing the planet Earth. Thirdly, to emphasize the ethical obligation of the present generation to overcome those current malpractice of resource utilization. 4, to enhance the capacity of the university to teach and practice sustainable development principles. To enhance the capacity of the university to teach and practice sustainable development principles, to increase environmental literacy, and to enhance the understanding of environmental ethics among faculties, students, and the public at large. I think that's all from me this afternoon. Thanks for your
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Basri Hasanuddin, for your presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, and then all the participants, I have already note of the Basri Hasanuddin presentation. Then, one important thing that we got from his presentation is about importance of the sustainable developments for university pay attention. So because what there are five pillars of this sustainable development, where Professor Basri already mentioned that to enhance the capacity of the university to teach and practice sustainable development principles, to increase environmental literacy, and to enhance the understanding of environmental ethics among the faculty, students, and the public at large. That's why we need university to be leader, I think, to develop to deliver the five pillars of the sustainable development. I think this is a presentation of the Professor Dr. Basri Hasanuddin. Ladies and gentlemen, and all participants and distinguished speakers as well. So we can continue to the last speakers this afternoon is Dr. Juri Po from the University Malaysia Sabah. I think Dr. Juri Po already also familiar with the research of the sustainable development because I've already seen her CV and then a lot of research related to them. So this afternoon, Dr. Juri Po will present about adapting to the new normal era. I think this is related to sustainable development as well. So time is yours, Dr. Juri Po. Please unmute first, Dr. Juri.
All right. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. I hope you can see my slides. My slide here. Oh yeah, thank you very much. Okay. So first of all, thank you very much for having me to share about the adapting to the new normal era, about sustainable development in new normal era, from the perspective of social and economic. So today I'm going to share about what we are going through and we are facing now in our daily life. It's very common but very important for us to discuss here, I think. All right. As you know, my name is Juri Fu. Actually, I'm more to my main specialty is geography. I'm doing more research on the environment and also development, and also a little bit and more to looking into sustainable development also among the community, which is doing this natural resources management here in Sabah and also Malaysia as a whole. Yeah, so for today, all right, this is I think everybody already know, because actually this year is the operation year to achieve the sustainable development goals by 2030. But you know, because of the pandemic of COVID-19, we are stuck and facing these new challenges, so-called new normal era. Previously, we are actually already getting ready for the new era of sustainable development operation. But because of the pandemic, we are now transformed to the new era, new normal era, and managing ourselves and our environment, and also our lifestyles for sustainable development in the new way. Okay, so this is the illustration. Everybody already know about the sustainable development goals that we need to achieve in 2030. All right. So I want to quote Kofi Annan, which is saying that our biggest challenge in this new century is to take an idea to seems abstract sustainable development and turn it into a daily reality for all the world people. And is actually happen now when we are facing this challenges during this pandemic of COVID-19. We are facing new things that can make us need to change our life, not only what we are doing daily in our daily life, but also our thinking, our reaction, and also our response to the not only natural environment, but also the social environment. So this is uh, an illustration that I want to show you the current situation where we are actually entering the new normal, what we are so-called transition stage, yeah, where we can see the sustainable development, the new era into new normal era. Why it is happened? Because of environmental and social changes, because of the pandemic of COVID-19. So at the end of our struggle in the achieve this kind of what we so call the resilience, future we will face this kind of resilience stage where new normal era of sustainable development will fit with our daily life, and we will feel like we are living in a very conducive environment. Yeah. So from my review of some of the facts from the online, yeah, from the internet, this is what we are facing now, the new normal era. And we are actually at the stage of reopen, where we can see we are facing some problem of social and also economics, yeah, where we can see every day in the newspaper, they are reporting about the problem in financing, bankruptcy, and so on. Yeah, but actually we are not losing, but trying to fit ourselves to this new new situation. Yeah, and what is happened here is actually we need new skills and also competency. Yeah, to adapt with this new normal situation. All right. Okay, and this is another illustration also from the internet. Yeah, the new and next normal of work. This is also a new lifestyle of working for the future that we are need to fit with. Yeah, we need new skills. Yeah, all workers, everybody need new skills. Yeah. Second one, new rules for leaders. Okay, leaders nowadays cannot using the previous concept, yeah, to handle their workers. They need a new concept to understand the workers and more wisely, yeah, to handle the organization, as what has been presented by from Joanna just now. It's related to this. And then we can see also some company real estate, yeah, the problem facing by the company real estate, and they need to uh, do some adjustment of their organization concept and also method in operation. And then another one, we can see surge in remote work, where employers are planning a remote work strategy post-pandemic. Now the power is in the workers' hand, not only in the organization, the authority of the organization itself. Yeah. And another thing we can see now is the rise in remote work tools to bolster productivity, because we cannot work together face to face. We need to find a good way for us to still produce and be productive, even though we are not going to work and by physical. Yeah. And then another thing is mental well-being, yeah, will be the concern for the new normal era in the workplace. Yeah. All right. So this is some also one of the illustration that showing us the working style, where most of the working style nowadays for facing the new normal era is more to digital Yeah, we are utilizing, optimizing digital gadget and digital application to fulfill our needs today. And also, we are facing this distance working lifestyle. Yeah, even we are not staying together, but we still need to work. And then this is also related to remote and also virtual. So to fulfill this, we need to enhance ourselves to make us capable to facing this kind of new era working style. So for education, uh, we have no choice. We have to do the class. We have still need to handle the class. So we are now trying to fit ourselves in doing online class, online training, online discussion, and online seminar just like this. So we cannot hide and we cannot run from this. Okay. In marketing, we can see the optimizing of application in marketing, where most of the entrepreneurs now using application, online application to market their products. Yeah, and this is no choice. We are also applying no cash and also delivery method. Yeah, online delivery. Sorry. So what can we see from this illustration? It is happened all over the world and also happened in my place. Yeah, even the rural area entrepreneur also need to adapt. Yeah, even they're facing challenges like they don't have a good internet connection, and they don't have a good they don't able to enhance their skills to using this online application, but they have to. Yeah. All right. This is what we call social disaster. Actually, what happened now is the transition stage where people facing social disaster. What is social disaster? It's actually similar with a natural disaster, but social disaster is come from these challenges, this negative impact because of this disaster or these challenges we're facing now. Most of the facts from the online documentation and also facts that I have been referred to um, mention about social problems, poverty, including hunger, and also other negative impacts such as loss of everything, including jobs, hopes, and also life. Yeah. Okay. This is one of the some of the example that I caught from the internet. See, the social problem we are facing now is mental health. This is a very, what we so-called very big problems that facing by the people all over the world. Yeah, where we can see anxiety and people cannot handle themselves to overcome their problems because of this new normal lifestyle. Yeah, and then another thing is about poverty. Many people now losing their job and also don't have enough like saving to support their life. So this is one of the facts that's showing actually all over the world. We can see most of the people facing the same problem. Yeah, they are going into poverty, then but they need to help themselves. Yeah. Okay. Another thing is about that. Now, maybe that is some of what we can say kebiasaan, the normal, yeah, in our life. We don't know. It's still being a good question for us to look further into this depth. Yeah, not only individual, but we can see actually most of the big country, the development country now facing that problem. Yeah. From the illustration, you also can see the ring of fire. Actually, it's related to debt that facing by most of the country over the world. Yeah. So let us ask ourselves: do we want debt being one of the normal thing in our life for the future? Yeah. Okay. So another thing, another negative impact I found from the my analysis from the reviewing the online facts, yeah, the unemployment rate over the world, especially when I see in Malaysia, it's like a big problem now. Unemployed people, unemployment rate in Malaysia is going higher now, and we can see seaside rate also increasing now. And this is this a new lifestyle of our society? We need to ask ourselves. Yeah. So the reality of the new normal is supposed to be like this. Even though there are many challenges, but we can fit into that. How we are going to adapting to this new normal era. So talking about this, I would like to see this matter from the concept of resilience. Yeah, from the concept of resilience, generally, actually, it's about how we adapt to the new, new situation, from giving a response and also react. So to fit in the new situation, of course, we need to give a positive response on and also reaction, yeah, to the new situation now. So what can we do? As for social resilience, we need to adapting to the new lifestyle. We don't have choice. Yeah. So what we can do, we need to change our way of thinking from challenges to opportunity. We took all of the challenges to opportunity. Yeah. Like this pandemic, we see the rate of people that affected by this virus increasing day by day. We look into this as an opportunity to produce something that can help people and also can gain some opportunity as a business and giving positive uh, outcome to the people around us and also for ourselves. Yeah. Second thing, we need to empower ourselves. How? To enhance, to gain as much as we can about any knowledge and also skills, because in the new normal era, we cannot rely on anybody else, any organization, subsidies, and also help from the government. We need to empower ourselves. To fulfill that, for our attitude, we need to have the skills of self-leading, yeah, and then independent, self-driven, and being an opportunist. Being an opportunist, what like what I have said just now, looking challenges into opportunity, yeah. And then finally, we need to have ability, yeah, ability to overcome these problems, these negative impacts by what? By being proactive and innovative, yeah. All right. For economic resilience, we can see from two groups of people that very into this economic ecosystem. One entrepreneurs and another one is society or public. Okay, for entrepreneurs needs to adapting to the new marketing approach. They cannot stick into conventional approach in marketing. So they need to create opportunity. Don't wait to organization or government to prepare opportunity for them. Okay, and then also they have to need empower themselves, yeah, knowledge and skills, yeah, and need to be fast. For attitude also needs to self-leading, independence of driving, and also opportunities. And also like the social resilience, they need to able, yeah, being proactive and also innovative. For society, they also don't have choices, adapting to the new economic approach, self-empowerment, and attitude. But for ability, they need to have a good skills in planning their finance and make a good decision in buying or in choosing what they need in their life, so they don't facing this poverty problem. Yeah. All right. This is an interesting illustration entering the new normal. I will share it with you, where customer need to expect need to have expectation of safety and convenience. Yeah, as I said just now, they need to have a good skills in planning and do decisions in buying or selling. Yeah. Second thing, smart firm will retire technical debt fast, then ride the technology disruption wave. Yeah, the firm need to being fast. The third thing, business will use digital engagement to create hybrid experiences. See, we still need digital as the priority, and it fits to this IR 4.0. Another one is firms and government will invest in the ones impossible to drive the future of work. Yes, we still need government and the firms, but the community, the public will need to empower themselves first. And the final thing, business resilience will become a competitive advantage in this new normal era, and we need to phasing it wisely. Okay, so this illustration also conclude all of the what we have saying just now. Digital is shifting society under the latest world climate, where lifestyle, work style, and the business style need to be need to be transformed into the new style. Yeah, where we applying remote transparency, touchless, and automation into running our marketing environment, our economic environment. Yeah. Okay, so from what I have said just now, the key to the key driver to the new era of sustainable development is actually the ability to adapt, meaning we need to connect to the future. Yeah, we cannot run from it. So my last advice is you must not isolating forever. So we need to try to change ourselves, not only our thinking, but our reaction and also response to fit with this new normal era to make sure this sustainable development can be achieved. So that's all from me. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Furijo. With your presentation, I think this is interesting presentation as well. I want to know what you say the last presentation. We must not isolating forever. Yeah, of course. This is will. What's that? This is will hold, of course, because since hitting us on December 2019, and then of course until today, pandemic COVID-19 already influenced our life. And the impact of COVID-19, of course, influenced human security in general. I think what the United Nations mentioned in development goals, there are 17 goals of the sustainable development, of course, now hit by the pandemic COVID-19. We like or dislike, whether want it or not, of course, we default, we default familiar with the digital, distance, remote, and virtual today. For example, our webinar international today, because of the pandemic COVID-19. Yes. We must face it, of course, and then life must flow of that. This is my conclusion of the Dr. Jury for presentation. So thank you very much for distinguished speakers. So now I open question and answer, and then I have already was that the someone who want to ask, I don't know, maybe for Professor Batsri, maybe for Professor Jury, and maybe for Professor Joanna. So I would like to invite Rizky Prawira to ask our distinguished speakers, please.
Can you hear my voice?
Okay. Rizky Prawira, please. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. It's a very fruitful discussion we had today, and I have a question. I have some questions to the facilitators that have presented their contents today, especially to Professor Basri Hasanuddin, who has presented a very interesting topic about green economy and the university as one of the main generators or the main actors for that goal. As we know that the sustainable development requires to take into account the environment aspect. But however, in the developing country like Indonesia, the development mainly generated by investment, whether it's in the domestic investment or foreign investment. And so we can expect during the mechanism, we can expect transactions there, we can expect bargaining there, and the kind of factors that are economically wise or profitable would be much more preferred rather than the environment factor. That's a sad truth. Sometimes these environment factors is not so much into the considerations. And as we know now in Indonesia, we just recently implemented the omnibus law, which will have the impact to the mechanism regarding to the foreign direct investment in Indonesia, which means that the mechanism to issue the permit for the investment would be significantly simplified. It would be a lot easier for the companies to invest in Indonesia. And we can expect a lot more investment in the future. So to Professor Basri, maybe how do you see the prospect of the green economy in the midst of this condition in Indonesia, and especially the roles of university, which I think has no significant power in influence the permit or anything for the investment. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator.
Okay, thank you very much, Muhammad Rizky Prawira. And then please, Professor Basri, to answer the question of the Muhammad Rizky. Okay, Professor, please. You answer the question of the Rizky Prawira.
From enhancing the economy and conserve the environment. That's why you want to increase. If you want to increase or to accelerate the rate of growth of the economy, maybe to some extent you have to sacrifice your natural resources. That's a pity that we are now having a policy for what do you call it, accelerating the rate of growth of investment, which are going to exploit natural resources significantly by providing incentive for investment, etc., etc. So it depends on the government what policy they are going to choose. Yeah? Because we have to understand that, as I've already indicated in my presentation, that during the high rate of growth in the Indonesian economy during the New Order regime from 1950s to 1980s, we were able to obtain a growth rate of 7% per year annually. But if we take into consideration the destruction of resources, depletion of resources, etc., we could the rate of growth could only achieve at the rate of, you have to reduce 3 to 4% of the rate of growth to 3% only. Yeah? So there is some, of course, the trade-off between more growth and its impact on the environment. So I am also a little bit nervous, yeah? Seeing the strong intention of the government to accelerate investment in our natural resources that may, in some time or another, will make a substantial effect to our environment. That's my opinion.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Basri, for your explanations, and I answer the question of the Muhammad Rizky. Anyone else that want to ask our distinguished speaker this afternoon, please?
I would like to add sorry, Dr.
Yeah.
Nasir. I think a university can play a good role as the start for this new normal era, like doing or organizing some of the greening program, like
Yes.
yeah, and also via writing to give awareness to the public, because I think it's a very big impact from the universities, the academician writing to give the signal to the government and also the stakeholders who is really related to this new normal area. That is my suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Judy, for your suggestions. So, anyone else that want to, quiz question? I mean, maybe I would like to invite all of you participants
Mr. Badu, there is
for
two
asking
participants.
questions. Okay,
There,
who is that?
two participants
There
raise
are
hand.
two.
Raise hand.
Who is that?
Dwi Arisa Putri. Dwi Arisa Putri.
Okay, go ahead.
Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, Dwi Arisa Putri, go ahead, please. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
And good afternoon. It's really interesting to see all the materials that have been delivered from all the speakers. And my questions goes to Prof. Joanna. I experienced about a few years ago when I completed and accomplished my thesis research about trust. Trust, if we talk about trust, trust is challenging topic, I think, for us to have research about. Maybe we have a research in one of the field that I saw from your research that I don't really clear about the elevated trust and how do you construct the trust, because as I saw and read some reference about the trust, trust divided into three. The first one is the competencies, contractual, and the God will, from the God will. So maybe it's a very basics from the trust theory, but I want to know a little bit more. How do you construct? And maybe you can explain more about the result of the research. Thank you very much.
Okay, please, Professor Joanna.
Thank you very much for your questions. I'm very happy that you also researched this topic in your thesis. I think the topic is very interesting and a lot of new research are needed. Now we are expanding the research to digital trust because we have the era of virus. So people start to live online. We have a lot of connection on social media over internet. So now also the type of building trust will change. Also the way of building trust in internet will change. So the new area research, I think digital trust will be very interesting. In relation to my previous research, so in this study which I show, I used 4 types of constructs to describe trust. But in the literature, usually you can find 3 types as you underline. So in the literature, usually researchers divided for competence, integrity, and benevolence. But there are different approach. I decided to add different approaches, and in in my research, I describe trust in dimension of abilities and competences, benevolence, consistency, and reliability. In my previous research, I used 8 questions, but in this research, only for question I have related with trust. So as I was telling before, the description of the constructs is a manager ability and competence lead to improve the trust among people. Compassion and empathy demonstrated by a manager build trust among people. Consistency is doing things by a manager brings about trust among people. And the last, a manager honesty and principle contribute to elevated trust among people. And as I told before, I use the scale from 1 to 7, Likert scale. But of course, in the next research, the scale can be and the constructs can be rebuilt, and we can add new dimensions also. Alpha Krombacher for these questions were very high, so the model and the questions meet the requirements of reliability and fit to the model. So I use these 4 questions: ability and competences, benevolence, consistency, and reliability to describe trust. I don't know if I answered. Do you have additional questions?
Okay, thank you, Prof. Joanna. So, about Dwi Arisa Putri.
Thank you very much. It's reminiscent for me about a few years ago about my research and your analysis. You used PET analysis, right? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, it's quite good.
Okay, thank you very much, Dwi Arisa Putri. So, another one to ask a question, so please. Ladies and gentlemen, our webinar, international webinar, we start on 4 p.m. Indonesia time. So now is 13:45. So that means we have 15 minutes left. So I would like to invite all of you want to ask questions, please. Okay, I think we don't have a presenter who want to ask the question. So I would like to thank you very much for Professor Joanna, Dr. Jurifo, and His Excellency Professor Basir Hasanuddin for joining us, for joining our international webinars this afternoon. Hopefully, in the future, we can collaborate again, and then we would like to invite you again to join with another our international webinar, or maybe a seminar maybe in Sulawesi Barat in Indonesia. Thank you very much. Ibu Ika, please. This is the next agenda.
Mr. Badu, thank you very much for the all speakers. Also, thank you very much for your presentations. Ladies and gentlemen, before we close the webinar for today, I announce for all participants about the certificate and also presentation materials. Maybe the committee will send to you all by email link at least 1 week before the webinar end. Jadi bagi in Indonesia, I will say bagi seluruh peserta yang mengikuti webinar hari ini, panitia akan mengirimkan sertifikat dan juga link materi ke email yang telah kalian daftarkan pada saat pendaftaran. Okay, I think it's enough. Now it is time for taking picture together before we end the webinar for today. For all the participants, maybe all speakers and moderator, please take your time to take the photo together before we end the webinar. 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Smile. Once more. 3, 2, 1. And once again, 3, 2, 1. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we finally reached the end of event today. We cordially say thank you to all speakers, moderators, our rector, all participants. Thank you for your joining and full attention, and see you in the next webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you. Waalaikumsalam. Dr. Julie, thank you very much. Professor Joanna, thank you. Professor Basri, Excellency, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you all.
point, Majene. Bu Ika, thank you.
Thank you. Prof. Joanna, thank you very much for your joining with us.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Pak Ucu, thank you so much Pak Ucu. Pak Ucu, terima kasih Pak.
Oke Pak, oke.
Pak Ucu, sertifikat tak terserah nih, mau narasumber, panitia atau partisipan.